Okay, we're on page Lamed. We're in the middle of Aleph. I apologize for my delay. And I don't know how much, we'll have a short share today. But we were in middle last time. We didn't even finish really discussing what the Lamaisa step here was, because we took a little bit of a detour to discuss this Yesod in Musar, that sometimes the fact that I'm not planning on doing something immediately after hearing something allows me to fully hear it. And when I fully hear something and I absorb it, it does more to motivating me into action than feeling like I have to check every box as soon as I hear it. I can hear it and that makes a lot of sense. Check in with me in a few months. It doesn't have to be immediate. It's very, very important. Yesod. We live in a world that's very you put it in the microwave, it has to come out hot, And Avodas Hashem is not that way. But that was what happened. What he had done was quoted the first Sif in Shulchan Aruch, where the Ramah writes, B'Shem, I mentioned to you that it was B'Shem the Mar Nevuchim, B'Shem the Rambam the Mar Nevuchim, that there is a sense of Shivisi Hashem Negdi Summit, that I'm in front of Hashem, that makes me act differently. Hashem is watching me. It makes me act differently. Hare, I'm 3 lines from the end of Aleph, okay? We read it inside, and I'm just continuing from there. Hare moine harama yeshivasai tenu oisav diburai v'harchavas piv. The Mashgiach is pointing out, we're in the mitzvah here of Kedushas Haguf, right, of Milah. The mitzvah of Kedushas Haguf, we don't do anything for our Milah. The point is, how do we live in a physical way with Kedusha? Well, when I think about Kedusha or I think about Hashem, does it affect how my guf acts? This is very important. First of all, let's blow the lid off this by starting off by saying that can we stop making every single discussion of Kedushas Haguf about Shmiras Bris? Is it possible that we can have a discussion about Kedushas Haguf that discusses Kedushas Haguf as a broad thing, without honing in on the difficulty that B'nai Torah have in this generation that frustrates them, and instead discuss the concept in a broad and healthy way, and in the hope that could eventually affect even things like Shmiras Bris, because I'm looking at my body in a healthy way. Doesn't that make sense? So the way he discusses, the Ramah talks about the way I sit, the way I move, the way I speak. Those are reactions of my body. Hainu ki oil hayira v'hakedusha, the yoke of yira and kedusha, tzarich lochul al gufa. It has to be chal. It has to hit the guf. V'chol tenu oisav mamish, and all of his movements. V'zeu haseif harisha in shal Shulchan Aruch. That's the first sif in Shulchan Aruch. Halokuach mehaperek ha'achra in shal Moreh Nevuchim. Taken from the last parak of Moreh Nevuchim, v'halei davarhu. The culmination of all the thought of the Rambam is the beginning of Shulchan Aruch. So let's just think about this. I think we're going to leave it with this for today. I want to talk about this thought. Okay, there's more. The next step, Beis, gets a little bit more into a continuation of this thought. But just Aleph is something I want to describe, maybe something that we could practically do over the next few days, just to give ourselves that sense. A person is taking a shower. So he's cleaning his body. Now, in the previous mitzvahs, we discussed, the concept. We talked about the Tana that went to the Merchatz, and he recognized that even washing his body is something he does for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Kavod Shamayim is a Tzelem Elokim. But I want to discuss it in a way, because I want to discuss it in a way of having a sense of our bodies. And when a person is in the shower, that's a good time for a person to have a sense of his body. Okay? It's private. It's a private time. And it's a time that he's sensing his body. He's cleaning himself. The water is coming down on him. And I wonder if we could be B'Kabel. B'Kabel is the wrong word. I wonder if we could experiment with an idea of taking a shower. You could do this other times also, but the shower is a good time to think about it. You thought you can't do ruchnias in the shower, but you can. Where you think about, that there's a halacha how to take a shower. You guys aware? Where there's a halacha how to take a shower? Okay, the halacha is that you're supposed to wash your head first. You know why? Because your neshama is in your head. I know they taught you it's in your heart, but it's in your head. Okay? And I ruined his night. That's it. Dreams shattered. The seichel is the connection to the neshama. Okay? So, also in the heart. But okay? But the roish is the mishkan of a person's kedusha, of a person's machshavas. Melech is a king, right? So Melech is Rosh Tevas. Moyach, Leiv, Kaved. Kaved is the liver, that represents physical functions. The Moyach is the Seichel, that represents our Ruchnias. The Leiv is the battleground between the Ruchnias and Gashmias of a person, is in his Leiv. Okay? So the Malchus is in the Seichel. Right? That's where a person's neshama is. Chachmas Adam Ta'ir Panav. The chachma of a person shines out of his face. So you wash your head first, your face first, and then you always prefer the right over the left as you wash the rest of the body. So while we're doing that, instead of just like I want to feel good, instead of just like to take care of ourselves, to get wrapped or to be distracted completely. Many people, when they shower, it's just complete distraction time. They're not even there in the shower. They're like on vacation. They're thinking about a test. They're somewhere else completely. Instead, imagine this. Imagine taking this piece, Shavisi Hashem L'Negdi Summit, and it's kind of a cool idea to think about that I'm in front of Hashem when I'm in the shower, because it's true. I'm an Eved Hashem, and I'm in front of Hashem. Even B'chadrei Chadarim, I'm in front of Hashem. There's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. I'm doing the right thing, maybe even a holy thing. And as I wash and I focus on each part of my body, I think about the fact that it is in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I think about the fact that Hashem gave me that part of my body to serve Him. I think about that. I'm not asking you to have more Yiras Shamayim, Chas v'Shalom. I'm not asking you to start focusing on Kinyane Kedusha, Chas v'Shalom. Just a simple, down-to-earth, healthy thought that God gave me these limbs to serve Him. I am washing this arm, thinking about the fact that this arm was a present from God to serve Him. And you tell me if you think it'll be possible to do an Aveira after that shower. Okay? Healthy, normal thoughts. Okay? Not out loud. I don't need the guys outside the shower to be hearing you devoting your body to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay? No, it's a private avodah that a person is doing. Healthy thoughts, present thoughts, recognizing Shivisi Hashem L'Negdi Summit. I am in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it's chal on my guf. My guf reacts to being in front of Hashem. Don't you have the urge to try that? Isn't that nice? Let's try that. Shimon, you're in?
I'll let you know.
What?
I'll let you know.
But you're in to try it. I think there's a makom to do that. We'll see soon that it goes even more dakostic than that. In Beis we'll see that it goes even more dakostic, even what the Welt might call micro expressions. Everyone know the phrase micro expressions? There's such a thing as even the very subtle expressions on a person. Even that, by a true tzaddik, it reflects his being in front of Hashem, or being an Eved Hashem. But now we're talking about more in a broad way. I'm in front of Hashem. I'm in front of Hashem. It's something that you could do if you don't like the idea of doing it in the shower. You could do it as you're going to sleep or as you're waking up. It's such a nice thing. A person wakes up in the morning. There's such a thing like the meditators call it a body scan. Anyone ever heard of a body scan? You heard of it? Where you like kind of go through your whole body to either relax it or to notice it. You go through your head, you feel your head, jaw, shoulders. And those of you that have ever tried it might know that you actually feel your body relaxing when you do it. You actually will physically feel your body relaxing. What if we use that kind of meditation for what HaKadosh Baruch Hu created it for, and each part of our body we recognize that it's in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It also will relax, because that's what it was created for. and it's comfortable there. And go through the entire body, head to toe, and just recognize that it's part of this magnificent body that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me to serve Him. Healthy thought? Okay, so that's the first step. Kedushas Haguf. Let's do Kedushas Haguf with a healthy approach, to be aware of our bodies as having been given to us by Hashem to serve Him with. Okay? We'll do Bays next time. Today?